Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode. We're going to be doing another Let's Play type of deal here. We're doing Ocarina of Time today, just to keep on the, I guess the Zelda sort of vibe, because that's kind of what I've been feeling like playing the past few days, especially after everything happened with the Nintendo Direct as far as not getting, some of the, I guess, HD remasters that we kind of wanted, but yeah, I've been in a, I guess a Zelda mood lately, so that's kind of what we're doing this for right now. As I did with the Missing Link, I don't really intend on this being 100% run by any means. That's just never really been the type of gamer that I am, I guess, but, so I wouldn't really watch this if you intend on it being like a guide or anything like that. This is mostly just going to be for fun type of deal. So, wow, the the backgrounds for the pre-rendered stuff on an emulator, that's sort of rough. um, yeah, that's some of the stuff from the leaks looks pretty good. As far as the pre-rendered backdrops go, because that is stuff that they found in the I think the Giga leak, as well as the overdump maybe that had happened recently. So there's some higher quality versions of those pre-rendered backgrounds that are floating around on the internet now, but yeah, another thing is I'm not sure if I'm gonna do an entire playthrough or what the deal is for that. I'll probably just do up until the end of the Great Deku Tree for this part, but I don't know. It depends on how I'm sort of feeling, because I might want to jump between some other retro games that I might want to play on an emulator or something. But you gotta have your lovely exposition here. So that's always fun, but yeah, I've seen this cutscene like way too many times. I had mentioned this in the Missing Link playthrough that I did. As a kid, I didn't really know how to progress further than Kokiri Forest here, just because I was a little too scared to go out and do that. But because of that, I would just restart the game basically, kind of a lot, and just kind of play this beginning tutorial area as well as the first dungeon, and just kind of just do that multiple times. But because of that, I really have, I guess, nostalgia for Kokiri Forest. You gotta have everyone's favorite fairy, Navi. Uh, Nothing like making fun of the hero that we're about to play as. Yeah, I don't know. Back on the topic of the, I guess, Nintendo Direct recently. And granted, this might not age well in the sense that we're probably going to get more HD remasters and stuff like that, announced in the coming months. But I was really hoping we'd see, Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD ported to the Switch, but I guess they had other plans, and it would have been cool to see Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D ported to Switch as well, because people have done upscales of those games, and they actually look pretty good, all things considered. Just running at I think they use like either AI algorithms or something like that to upscale the textures from the 3DS version. But you know, I obviously they'd probably have a different approach at Nintendo, or they might have even had Grezzo, who were the ones who ported those games to 3DS, create I guess higher quality assets than maybe they were able to use, because sometimes stuff like that happens. Like especially with the backwards compatible Xbox 360 games on Xbox One, some of them had better textures basically that didn't load in, it's my understanding, and so you basically can tell the emulator to run them at the higher resolution, or maybe it was something to do with like HDR data or something like that at the time, but that sword looks real pretty running on an emulator. I always liked the models that they use for the different equipment that you get, just in terms of like how much better it looks compared to the actual in-game model. I could get me some rupees now though, so I can buy that shield. It is really strange playing this with an Xbox One controller though. And I kind of imagine that would be something they'd have to figure out for, you know, if you were going to play the 3DS remakes on the Switch. I don't know how well that would translate over necessarily, but, you know, I'm sure they'd figure it out. Because they figured out how to fix motion controls. I don't want to talk to you, Navi. They figured out how to fix the motion controls from Skyward Sword, and that's basically just getting rid of them entirely. Because that was always a big issue I had with that game, was I didn't want to have to be resyncing my Wii Remote every 10 seconds. And then I think the other issue was also we didn't get, like, very good, I guess, batteries, you know? So we would end up having to, you know, like, if you use a bad battery, then it's going to chew through it. The Wii Remote will chew through it really fast, so I ended up having to get Fee to tell me, hey, your batteries are low about every 30 seconds, so that, you know, and obviously not really 30 seconds, but you know what I'm saying. She told you about that a lot, and I think that was the first Zelda game that gave you, like, warnings about playing for long periods of time, if my memory is right. I could be wrong on that, but I think that was the first one, and then they went, like, crazy with that in A Link Between Worlds. And part of that was also because they wanted you to conserve, you know, your battery life on your 3DS or your Wii remotes or that type of thing, but it was just a little frustrating. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that, because otherwise Fee probably won't talk to you all too much if she's not warning you about your battery being low or your remotes needing to get recalibrated, that type of deal. Let's see if I have enough for the shield. 40? Well, that sucks. I'm so close. That can be easily remedied. There we go. I've never really understood why those 3 platforms give you rupees, but that's neither here nor there. Alright. Hey. Now we can get past Mido. And we can't skip this text. That's good. Nah, I don't need nothing else from you. I also always have found it weird that you can buy arrows as a child long before you ever get the bow. So that's just a neat little, I guess, tidbit, if you will. So we're going to talk to Mido now. Your best friend. There we go. Nice, skippable dialogue. Perfect. Hey, gotta get our first item, the stick. And Now we get to sit through a really long cutscene. Gotta test your courage by going inside of me. And I always did like how it gives you the option to say no a few times throughout the story. Not that you can progress in that way, it just forces you to eventually choose yes, but it's still just a neat little touch, because then I think it's Zelda, if you say no, she's like, what do you mean no? Like, the hell are you doing besides, you know, saving Hyrule from certain destruction? Link's just too busy sleeping, though. He's gotta get some rest, you know? One thing I will say about this dungeon, really not a fan of starting off with a bunch of spiders. You know, just as the, I guess, theme of the enemies in the dungeon. Because as a kid, and hell, even as an adult, I am not a fan of spiders just in general. I think that it's like weird. It's like they look at you as if they're like, damn, if I was big, I'd fucking kill your ass, you know? Even the small ones, that's what I mean, but... Alright, let's get an item. I think it's either the map or the compass, if I remember right. Hey, it's the map. Perfect. We gotta get a slingshot. Navi has to tell me how to use a door, because apparently Link has never seen one. Although I guess there aren't any in Kokiri Forest, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, give me that clue, boy. And again, dialogue that you can't skip, really. That's always fun. There we go. Perfect. I'm really excited to play the remake of the... well, not remake, really. It was from the overdump leak, if you will, of the original... Or not the original, but one of the earlier versions of the Deku Tree, as far as the dungeon goes, because it looks like massively different. So I'm excited to play that once Zell, he's one of the ones who worked on The Legend of Zelda, The Missing Link. He's going to put that out, and I hope it's just, you know, something that, you know, the community really likes. But that'll probably take a while still, because I think he's really doing a lot of neat stuff that, you know, because other people, they just put the models online, or, you know, I guess, the dungeon itself, and you could just kind of traverse it as Link, and you would have to use, like, a levitation glitch type of deal to actually be able to traverse it. But Zell is actually re-implementing the actors, so, like, the enemies and stuff like that, as well as torches and, you know, chests and things like that. Oh, great. Thank you, Navi, for telling me how vines work. I appreciate you. Any more up there? Yeah. But, yeah, he's doing, like, a full-on restoration, basically, of, you know, that dungeon and how it might have been. So, stuff like that really just excites me in general. It's just really cool to see what could have been. And I've always maintained that I think that if Nintendo just wanted to print money one day, they could release, you know, just an older build, or even just, you know, show it off in like a video on demand or something like that. But they won't really do that, because they don't really like to show stuff like that, really, unfortunately. Let's see what we got. I'm betting it's the compass. Actually, I'm like 90% sure it's a compass. Hey. Let's take care of our friend, the Skulltula here. He can terrify me some. There we go. Let's get up here, and then we can do this little puzzle, if you will. I thought that made a chest appear, but I was wrong. As you're noticing, or maybe not, by the way, this is the version 1 ROM that I'm playing currently. That's why the Gerudo symbol on the switches looks a little different than the current Gerudo symbol. Because they did change it because it bore some resemblance to the symbol of Islam, so they changed that. One of the other things that this version has that the more recent versions doesn't is the music in the Fire Temple is actually, it uses samples from basically a reading of the Quran that was on like a sound demo or something like that of the time. They actually used that in another game that I kind of consider to be a I don't know, a cult classic of sorts. It's Kakto Chojin on the original Xbox. I might do a little Let's Play of that some other time just because I enjoy playing that game, although it's a little harder to do stuff with games that you can't emulate because original Xbox emulation's still not all that easy, and compatibility is not nearly as good as you know, like N64 or even PS2 and GameCube. Emulation for those systems has come a long way, and the computer that I have is really not all that powerful, all things considered, but it still does a pretty good job of emulating those games in better quality than I would have been able to get just off of actual hardware, although honestly, the GameCube is a little easier to get good video quality out of than the PS2, because the PS2, most games ran in 480i, whereas a lot of the GameCube games, especially the first-party ones, ran at 480p, so even just having it not be an interlaced signal looks significantly better, but that's a story for another time, I guess, as far as being able to do a maybe a GameCube Let's Play type of deal. Gotta teach us the 23 is number 1. I didn't mention this in the Missing Link playthrough, but they have a neat little homage to that and how you progress through the I believe Deep Woods area, because there's a part to get to Monktown where you have to go through some tunnels, and you have to do it in the correct order. Navi's teaching us to swim, and you can't skip it. That's fun. Alright. Oh, nope. That was a good try, but nope. On the bright side, they're pretty generous with the amount of time they give you, since it is the first dungeon after all. There we go. Ugh. Why can't they just let me skip this text? Oh, jeez. And see, I was complaining about that in The Missing Link, that you can skip it a little too easily, but this is sort of the opposite issue. let's take care of that. There we go, perfect. Also, a neat little tip. If you use the sword while your torch is still on fire, it doesn't use up the torch. It just kind of puts it back into your inventory. So that's a neat little, I guess, bonus type of deal. You know, it just makes things a little easier. I don't want to fight those mini gomas, so I'm just going to avoid them. Because those ones always freak me out. Yeah, I should be able to just go skirt around here. And I can't go in there yet because I don't have... Oh, wrong item. Can't go in there yet because I don't have the bombs. But, yeah, you can come backtrack a little later and you're able to get a Skulltula, I believe. Man, that used up one of my sticks. Darn it. But yeah, you can backtrack a little later and get a Skulltula, which comes in handy because you need a bunch of gold Skulltula tokens in order to get the adult's wallet, I believe. Either the adult's wallet or the giant's wallet, which you need in order to be able to get the Big Goron sword. But that's a long ways away, just in terms of what I have to get done to be able to even get to that point. But now we gotta burn the cobwebs down. And as I said in the Missing Link video, I really do like the little puzzles like that where you gotta burn the stuff from under you, because they don't do that too often. In fact, I don't know if they do that more than that one time in this game, but we gotta do 23 is number 1 now, as that other Deku scrub said. Take care of this guy. Oh no, we've been betrayed. See, and he's a big ol' snitch. Alright, time to do the first boss. And this one always freaked me out, because on the N64 and even the GameCube version, it's like way darker than when you play on an emulator here. So it was just kind of more like a horror vibe, and that's really kind of brought home by the fact that there's that fog on the floor. Oh, okay, yeah, it does get darker. And then just looking up and seeing that, it's terrifying. Oh, whoa. Jeez, I got my buttons all mixed up since I'm on an Xbox controller. Yeah, this boss is pretty easy though. Yeah, see? All you gotta do is 2 phases. Which, I mean, I get it. You know, it's the first boss of the game, so you don't want to make it too difficult for new players, but I always found it funny that that one's just... And even, I'd say the first 3 bosses really are just kind of pushovers, especially compared to some of the 2D Zelda games, because some of those, they expect quite a bit, even though it's just, you know, the first, second, or third dungeon, but they really ramp up the difficulty a lot faster. Although part of that is because I played the 2D ones when I was, like, way younger, and I haven't really played them since, but... Now we get another big ol' cutscene. He's gonna give us the, basically, story of creation from the Hylian's perspective, so... Oh no, wait, it's talking about Ganondorf. Never mind. I was checking to see if it was still recording, so I wasn't reading all that much. One thing I think that is kind of cool, just in terms of like this being the fourth mainline game, you had always heard about Ganondorf before, like in A Link to the Past, but you never actually got to see him. So it's a cool thing that you actually get to see him. But yeah, here we go. Now is the creation legend, I guess, if you will, for Hyrule. I always like this cutscene as well, just because it's pretty, I'd say, I don't know, visually impressive in terms of what they're able to accomplish for an N64 game, you know? And I don't recall if the prior games, because I have played A Link to the Past twice. I've never beaten Zelda 1, but I don't know if in any of in Zelda 2 I just haven't like I play a little bit of it and then I'm like, nah, that's not for me. But I don't know if this creation story was canon through Link to the Past. I can't imagine it was in Zelda 1, but if that's the case, then it's just cool that they came up with it for this. I really like how those, I guess, fake reflections look. They look really cool. Then we get to see the part that freaked me out as a kid and still is kind of morbid, even looking at it now. But you get to see the being that sort of took care of you from when you were born just die in front of your eyes. And I always thought it was crazy that they even show like the color kind of fading away from him. It's just pretty sad, all things considered. And it's just funny because, like, even now I think that the different spiritual stones look pretty cool, but I mean they really haven't aged all that well. But I still think they look really pretty for what that's worth, I guess. But oh, you're sending Navi with me. Great, thanks. Yeah, and here's what I was talking about with the, like, color going out from him. It's like, ugh, that's pretty morbid, honestly, for like a kid's game, but get to talk to our friend Mido here. And he thinks we killed him. Perfect. I always liked in the, there was an Ocarina of Time abridged series by Adam West Lapdog, who's a really OG, I guess, you know, abridged series creator, if you will. And he basically implied, if I remember right, in his abridged thing that you were technically responsible for killing the Deku Tree. I always thought that that was a little funny thing just based on how Mido reacts. Get your friend Saria here. She gives you the nice ocarina that you immediately throw away once you get the Ocarina of Time. I always thought that that was kind of weird that you just kind of get rid of it after that, but, you know, I guess the Ocarina of Time, you know, it being the namesake, you don't really think about, oh, well, what happened to my other one? You know, you just leave it at the bottom of that, I guess, sewage system outside of Hyrule Castle, but see, and I wonder if I'm able to do the get Saria's song now before I go to Hyrule Castle and Death Mountain, because I kind of would prefer to do that versus having to backtrack later. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever got to Hyrule Field, we had to go somewhere, my family and I, because I was a kid when I played it, but we had to go somewhere, and I didn't know that there was a day-night system, so I didn't pause it, and obviously what happens when it turns to night, a bunch of Stalfos come out and attack you and basically kill you, so I returned home just to find that Link was dead. I'm going to do just a little bit more, because I said I was only going to do up until the end of the Deku Tree, but I'm actually going to see if I can, well, get the upgraded Slingshot first as well. And I like how there's no real challenge to that once you hit one of them. Give me my prize. I don't want to listen to you talk. There you go. Nice. And if you go down there, there's a little mini game of sorts that's basically just like Simon says, to get a piece of heart, but it's a little tedious because you have to do it a few times. Like I think either 3 or 4, which I don't really feel like doing right now. Maybe I'll do that some other time, but we get to fight our first actually sort of difficult enemy. Ooh. And I say difficult in the sense that he actually dodges your attacks. Whereas the majority of the earlier ones just kind of take it. There we go. And if I recall, we don't have to fight another Wolfos until, when's the next one we fight? The Forest Temple, maybe? And even then, there's only like one in the Forest Temple. And it's just, or maybe there's 2. And it's in the little entrance area to it. And I'm gonna fight him. Ooh. Oh, and sure enough, I was completely wrong, and Saria is not here yet. Huh. Oh well. We are gonna go back to the entrance to the Kokiri Forest, and that'll be that for this episode, so... Don't really have much to add in terms of commentary, although I do think it's good that they gave you a way to go over the little maze here. I also do really like, just from like a thematic sort of standpoint, I guess, that the Lost Woods, I'm just gonna cheat and head out that way anyways. The Lost Woods, there's like two types of, I guess, mazes that you have to go through. One where, you know, you can't see which tunnel will warp you away and which one will just let you stay, you know, and be able to do stuff. I am going to save real fast. You know, you have that type, and then you have the, I guess, more classic maze towards the end in the ancient forest meadow area. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Shoot, I'm going to save again because I want them rupees. Yeah, that's that for this episode. I'll probably do one of these once a week, hopefully. I mean, we'll see how things go. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.